Darn it. It looks good.
Yes, sir.
When the batteries are at 9, it should start beeping at the top.
Okay.
So if you notice that, let me know.
You can swap it out faster than like a NASCAR pit stop.
Like if you put it to like a graphic while I swap it out, that way it's like just
I think we can do that.
so it looks.
Oh, we've got some people walking. Let's do it. All you, brother. You're the one talking.
And welcome everybody to the Paws Up preview live from the Roar Lounge. It is homecoming week. It's coming to a close today, Kevin, as the FIU Panthers get ready to battle the Liberty Flames as they look to increase their odds of getting to a bowl game to close out the 2025 season. I am Jake Gibson, joining alongside my friend and co-host, Kevin Barral. And Kevin, this brings back some memories, doesn't it? It was only a couple of years ago when we were doing this here at the Roar Lounge. And who was the opponent then? It was Liberty. But it's great to be back. Wonderful weather, by the way, for this game. And it's the Sunblazers, not the Panthers today.
Yeah, Sunblazers. We're here at the Roar Lounge. Appreciate the Alumni Association, obviously allowing us to do this for a second time. Didn't do it last year, but we're excited to be back, and should be a fun one. Coming off a big weekend against Middle Tennessee, right? Big win, 56-30, and we're gonna see Joe P back at it again tonight. So should be really interesting game. And just like FIU, Liberty's playing for a bowl game too. Same records, so it's a must-win game for both these teams. And for Liberty specifically, they still have a shot at the Conference USA Championship game. So they need to win out, and that starts here tonight for them at Pitbull Stadium.
To be honest, who would have thought that at this point of the season, both FIU and Liberty would be 4-5? It's certainly interesting how this all transpired. So before we get any further, of course, we got to give a big thank you to FIU alumni for allowing us to do this. Obviously, if you're making your way to the stadium and if you're an alumni, be sure to come on out, say hey, and grab some delicious food. We were walking around earlier. The food options they have here, my gosh,
they're nice.
They look absolutely insane. So before we keep going here, FIU alumni did ask me to talk about a notable event coming up from FIU alumni early next year, specifically Panther Alumni Week, or PAW. It's a beautiful nickname. This event connects students with former Panthers through class presentations, industry panels, and networking events. Each year, FIU alumni invites former Panthers to visit FIU and engage with students on campus and virtually, offering real-world insight and valuable career advice. If you're interested, be sure to join Paws from February 2nd to the 6th of next year for an exciting week of events and networking opportunities. FIU alumni is proud to celebrate PAW 2026. With your involvement, you can make PAW bigger and better than ever. So I got to say, Kevin, FIU alumni always puts on the best opportunities to showcase how great the FIU alumni is here in South Florida. Obviously, with me being class of 22, and eventually you'll have the opportunity as a alumni to sort of show out your love with the blue and gold here in South Florida.
Yeah, 100%. Expect to have a lot of people here tonight.
Yeah.
And should be a good crowd, too, for the game. We were walking around. The tailgate scene looks awesome.
Yes.
It's going all the way through close to the ocean bank. So it's pretty neat, and we're excited to see. Hopefully, all those fans that are outside got to get them inside the football stadium to make sure that, as Willie Simmons said, we have the best environment in Conference USA.
And, it's not just homecoming and all that. It's also Greek Day as well. So you have all the frats, all the sororities here absolutely bumping right now, as they usually are for this game. So let's just get right into it now, talking a bit about what happened last week. And was it glorious. FIU's win over Middle Tennessee. Final score of 56-30. It was kind of a nail-biter in the first half there. FIU gives up 10 unanswered points right before halftime, but in the second half, they absolutely turned it around. Offense, defense, and special teams are all clicking as they showed through brutality that they were the better team.
Yeah, it was a slow first quarter, right? Like you kind of getting adjusted to it with Joe P at the helm, but immediately after he kind of noted it in the post game, took a big hit. It was a roughing the passer, and that kind of set the tone for him a little bit. Flipped the switch, got him going a little bit, and he ends up going 17 for 28, 257 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 61% completion rate, and he also had the rushing touchdown. Became the first player in FIU program history to account for 5 touchdowns in a single game.
Yeah.
So huge there on that end. And then obviously the running game really got it going towards the end. So he had Keyshawn Owens for 68 rushing yards with 2 touchdowns, third multi-touchdown game of the season.
Yeah.
He could do something special tonight.
He could.
And then we had Anthony Carey with 1 touchdown. He broke the 50-point barrier.
He did.
And Alex Perry, multi-touchdown game. He had a touchdown from JoJo Stone, Dallas Payne as well. So big performances there from those guys on the offensive side. Defensively, Shamir Sterling, back-to-back games with 10 total tackles. He looked really good. FIU had 2 forced fumbles, 1 interception. So, and I'm missing – they had 3 forced fumbles technically, but 1 was recovered. Jermaine Carter had 1, and Percy Courtney had the other one. And Mr. Clark had another one too, which 2 of those were recovered. So, obviously, huge there on the defensive side. They're going to need that against Liberty tonight when they go up there running back Evan Dickens, the Georgia Tech transfer. So, going to be a big night for this FIU team. And, overall, you have to feel good. You go into Middle Tennessee, a place where you haven't won since 2011.
Yeah.
And you come out victorious. You'll take that any day of the week. You put yourself in a really good situation, but a very nerve-wracking situation, too, to where you're watching this game intently. Because if you lose this one, the path to a bowl game all of a sudden becomes extremely tough.
Yeah.
Going up against Jack State, who is probably playing their biggest game of the season tonight at home against Kennesaw State. And then you travel to an MLS stadium and taking on the same Houston State Bearcats, who, to their credit, they
won.
State.
Yeah, not many people predicted that they would even be able to do that in Corvallis, but they did. Don't mean to become a negative Nancy here, but this game we want them to win. It'd be less stressful if they beat Missouri State, the most winnable game that they lost this season. If you do that, you're already at 5 wins. You just plan ahead. You just plan the parade right after that Sam Houston State game. But I digress. This is the road that FIU was on. So I think one of the best aspects of that game, by the way, for Joe Pasanski, and Willie Simmons talked about it in the media availability, is how he rebounded after both of those interceptions. The ensuing drives, granted, one of them was right after a fumble forced by the defense, so hell yeah. But both drives after his interceptions were touchdowns. And, of course, the second one being the second half, when all FIU could do was score touchdowns on offense. So Pasanski, above all else, he played like a fifth-year quarterback that he is, just now elevated in FBS. He's playing like he's been playing at FIU since his freshman year.
Well, that's the big thing, right, with Pasanski, where they brought him in because he has experience. He was in the FCS level at Holy Cross and was huge there. He started every game last season for them. He was a team captain. He was an all-conference player. And Willie noted, like, you don't usually see a player who had that type of a season, had the success that he did, go and take a backup quarterback job and have to compete. I mean, you knew Q1 was a starter. He said compete, but realistically, Q1 was going to be the starting quarterback at that point.
Yeah.
Which we'll have to talk about now later on. But, yeah, and you noted it, And right at the end, too, between the third and fourth quarter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight scoring drives.
Beautiful.
After the interception, the first one, 3 straight touchdown drives.
Yeah.
So, and it was after the interception where they had those 5 straight scoring drives. So that's huge. And if you're FIU and you're Joe Pasanski, you're kind of learning off those mistakes on the fly really quickly and making those quick adjustments, which is what we saw against Middle Tennessee.
That second half of football for FIU on offense and defense, for that matter, one of the best second halves of football I've literally ever seen FIU play, especially considering it was on the road and it was against a fellow CUSA opponent, that they were able to do that under no pressure. So now I got to ask you a big question here, Kevin. We've seen the 2D, right? It looks like it's not 100% confirmed, but it looks like Joe Pazinski
It will be Joe Pazinski.
will be the starter today for FIU football. Do you believe that even if Keywan Jenkins is 100% healthy, that Joe Pazinski starting will give FIU the best chance of success these last 3 games of the season?
I think the big caveat with what we saw last week is that Joe Pazinski did this against the 1-7 at the time Middle Tennessee team.
Yeah.
Probably the worst secondary in Conference USA.
True.
But you also have to think a veteran presence, a guy who's more of a game manager, probably knows his offense a little bit better and it's catered a little bit more towards him than Keywan. I think they will have a better shot, fortunately, and I hate to say that. And they were able to – they really didn't have to rely on the run game as much as they did the first time, right?
Yeah.
So Pazinski, he's a veteran guy. He knows what to do in these type of situations. Not that Keywan doesn't, but Keywan clearly – I don't know how much of it was injury-related. But, I think Pazinski's the right guy to lead this team moving forward.
And that's nothing to discredit Keywan. Obviously, we love Lights, man. He's been on our show twice. Every chance we've had to talk to him, either pregame, postgame practices, he's always been an A-plus act. But, I don't think there's no denying when you set a program record in your first ever start as an FIU Panther with 5 total touchdowns, it's hard to take that away. And obviously, and this is going to be a much bigger challenge, Liberty's defense compared to Middle Tennessee. So
and honestly, like when you think of it, I think it'll really be game by game how they handle this moving forward. Who knows? Maybe even drive by drive. If Joe P isn't really getting it going for them, let's bring Keywan in and see if we could spark something out for get a spark going. But I don't think that'll be necessary tonight. This is a Liberty team that is really good. They're really good defensively. They're going to be the toughest defense, at least FIU will face in Conference USA. So I'm curious to see how Joe matches up against that. Yeah. But it seems like they're pretty ready for the challenge, and I'm excited to see how that turns out.
There's a dude outside giving out free cans of Mr. Pibb, Kevin. That's how lit this homecoming scene is here. By the way, Coca-Cola. Love them. It seems like every week they give out free stuff.
We're
right?
Coke's one.
Yeah, vitamin water. I think is a Coke product.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. So
Monster too.
Yeah. What's cool is that you can't see this, but we see the crowds building up here right outside Pickle Stadium, which is where the Parkview lounge area, which is right across the street from Panther Hall. So we just see all this brewing, and the numbers here. I don't think I've ever missed a homecoming game as a student and now covering FIU. This is an insane crowd. We walked over there. It was like backed up all the way, like close to the rec center. They had tents going there. So this is an awesome sight. Just felt like pointing it out then. So as far as some other noteworthy takeaways from Middle Tennessee, I know a lot of aspects of the Panthers adjusted from the first half to the second. That's one of the best overall team adjustments I've ever seen FIU do. But I want you to talk about what got the running game going in the second. It felt like in the first half, Keyshawn Owens, not too many explosive plays here and there. But in the second half, specifically the end of the third into the start of the fourth, rushing touchdown. They had no answers to them. What really got that clicking?
Yeah, I honestly think a little bit was part of Middle Tennessee maybe letting down their guard on the run game.
Yeah.
Assuming Joe was just going to keep passing the ball as much as he was. And to his credit, I mean, he threw the ball 28 times.
He did.
And he completed 17 of those passes. FIU ran the ball a total of 38 times. When we've seen KJ Owens take most of those reps, like 20-something runs per game, he had 15 carries on 68 rushing yards. So he had that multi-touchdown game. It allowed Anthony Carey to have the one touchdown there at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So I also think the offensive line did a better job in the second half towards the end, really adjusting and getting things going there. But, it was a good adjustment for this FIU team. And against the Liberty team that ranks 5th in Conference USA in rushing defense, they're really going to have an opportunity to get it going. And we say 5th, and you think, wow, that's not bad, right? I mean, look, Liberty's they're 8th, actually. They're allowing 161 rushing yards per game.
Yes.
So FIU really needs to step it up there. And in the passing game, Liberty, that's where they really thrive. They're 2nd in the conference in pass defense. So those are 2 really key stats that I'm looking at. And I'm really looking at how FIU takes advantage. And the mismatch is clear as day.
Yes.
FIU with the 2nd best rushing offense in the conference, Liberty with one of the worst passing rushing defenses. So that matches up well. Unfortunately, FIU hasn't really been able to take advantage of those matchups within the last couple of years. Hopefully that's one where they could really take advantage of.
I think one of the first major Conference USA games of the season was Liberty taking on Jacksonville State, and that was like a breakout game for Cam Cook, showing how great he is, but also some flaws with Liberty's rush defense that hopefully FIU can turn around and expose against the Flames here at Pitbull Stadium tonight. It's kind of funny. I'm trying to think of negatives that we can really talk about with that game against Middle Tennessee and how they can fix them.
Overall, the offensive line could have been a lot better.
Could have been better.
And if you really want to be nitpicky, the first TD to JoJo Stone was a little bit underthrown. Stone had to make a really nice catch there.
He did.
To really adjust on the fly. But, I mean, those are really it. That's all I could really think of. Overall, defensively could have been a little bit better in terms of actually tackling. Could have been better tackling overall. But overall, man, like, they got the win. It was a blowout win. And I don't think we've even noted the stat. FIU scored the most points in the FBS this past weekend with 56 points. One of 3 teams to cross the 50-point marker. So huge, huge, huge. And got to hope that they can do it against Liberty, which is one of the better scoring teams in Conference USA.
I think they committed the majority of their penalties in that game, by the way, in the first half. They cleaned that up in the second half.
It was a lot cleaner. That's the other thing I wanted to note. It was 6 penalties for 61 yards, but a lot of those weren't pre- and post-snap penalties, which is something that Willie noted. He said, I'll take a PI call any day. I'll take in-game penalties, in-play penalties at any point. But unsportsmanlike conduct like we saw against Missouri
None
State,
of those
the pre-snap penalties that we saw against Missouri State or even Kennesaw State, those didn't happen as often. And I think it was only 2 in total, and those 2 pre-snap penalties. So that's going to be another big factor. Can FIU keep that consistency going?
Yeah, definitely. So that's pretty much it about the Middle Tennessee game, honestly, Kevin. It's one of those games where you love it when it happens. Stress-free football. From the second half onwards, you weren't worried if FIU was going to win because they were clearly the better team. So is it kind of crazy that FIU scored more points against Middle Tennessee than Wisconsin of the Big Ten? I think it was in Madison, too.
It is worth noting that, I mean, Middle Tennessee put up 30, and in many games at Conference USA, that could lead to a win. So got to keep that in mind, too. Again, one of those touchdowns is right at the end.
Yeah.
Like, that was a garbage time touchdown.
Yes, it was.
Not what you saw against Kennesaw, but yes, that was a garbage time TD. And, it was a good game overall. And now I think the focus shifts to Liberty, which is going to be a tough opponent. And out of the last 3 games, 2 of them at home, this one feels like the winnable one again, compared to Jacksonville State.
How many times did they go for 2 in that game, by the way, FIU?
Too many. I wish you could.
I want to say 3 or 4. If they went for a PAT on all those tries, we might have a 60-point game that FIU dropped.
Shout out Noah Grant.
Yes, Noah Grant. He was money that game.
He was money. I got to give him credit.
Yes.
He was money.
Yeah, that was
He's been getting a lot of flag lately, so I felt like he deserves a shout-out.
He does. Maybe they could fix up that 2-point offense system. If it comes down to that in this game,
they're going to need it.
Yeah. So hopefully they can get that ready to go. Like I said, if they convert those, it's a 60-point game, and that looks even better than 56. It's so spoiled that to even think about that. But I can't remember the last time they scored 60 in the game. I don't know if they ever have. So
a lot of good food options here. Just going back to the Laurel Lounge.
Yes.
Sushi Saki's right behind us.
Sushi.
And as I was reading it, and their owner is an FIU grad.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool.
I think most companies here were created by FIU grads that are serving food for this. Obviously, bringing back
or at least they're
everybody.
By an FIU.
Yeah. Chick-fil-A, I don't know about that, but they're here too.
They are here. They're outside. We have Sports Grill outside. A couple catering companies. So no, the vibes are great. And
coconut shrimp, Kevin.
Yeah, we know about that.
There you go.
Fortunately, I see a UM jersey out there, which I don't know why.
Yeah, they've done videos. I think at FIU where you get Rory. They spot people in Canes jerseys, other college jerseys. Come on, get yourself an FIU jersey. If you were here at Vice Night, you could have gotten that Vice shirt. Like it's not like FIU hasn't given you opportunities to put on FIU merch. They certainly have.
What do you think of the new logo?
This new Sun Blazers logo, I got to tell you, it's great. I like the fact that they're bringing back Son of a Blazer, but you don't even need my word for it. Every time FIU has posted something about the Sun Blazers on social media, the majority of the comments are from outsiders who are looking at this being like, these need to be permanent. Like, you need to permanently be called the Sun Blazers instead of the Panthers.
There's multiple teams called the Panthers.
Yeah,
now, again,
Georgia State.
At this point, with the branding, it's tough to change it.
I know.
But I don't hate Sun Blazers.
I like it too.
It's very unique.
There's no other team in college football called the Sun Blazers. The closest thing is UAB just being the Blazers. Like you said, a lot of teams called the Panthers right now. You could even keep your Vice. Vice Sun Blazer would be awesome. maybe that's a story for another day. But yeah, FIU is all in on branding. It would take like a year to get rid of all the Panther stuff on campus, swap it out with Sunblazer. I don't know if they're really
Yeah,
into
I don't
that
think
right
it'll
now.
happen, but definitely a fun conversation every year to have. I guess.
I would like them to orient Sunblazers more for the other sports, like have a Sunblazer night for basketball, baseball, soccer. Because those sports they actually did wear Sunblazer uniforms a long, long time ago. Football is brand new, so I'd like to see those sports
Yeah,
get in on it
football's
too.
also Panthers, right?
Yeah, they were always the gold. They
Well,
were first the
Golden
Golden
Panthers.
Panthers. Now just the Panthers. When they started, Sunblazers was already well out of here. So I'd like to see them maybe introduce that to other sports. Some throwback uniforms would be awesome, like for basketball and baseball. Gosh, come on, you're kidding me. Alrighty then, let's get into our opponent for this week. It is none other than the Liberty Flames. You want to talk about up and down seasons for teams in Conference USA? Look no further than Liberty. This was a program that, since joining Conference USA, has dominated the conference. Went to a New Year's Six Bowl as an undefeated team, for crying out loud. And now they come here with a 4-5 record. Had a horrific start to the season, losing 4 straight after barely beating Maine, an FCS team. Granted, kind of barely beat them a couple years too against Maine.
No, we can't be talking.
Then what did they do since then? They turn around and won 3 straight, but they're coming into this game with a crucial, back-breaking loss to Missouri State at home. So it's been an up and down year for the Flames, and I'm sure, as we'll find out later, a lot of the Flames faithful not happy with how the season's gone so far.
No, but I will say they travel well, so I would not
They
be
do.
shocked if I see a lot of Liberty fans out here. But you kind of said it. They started with a big win against Maine. It was very close up until the 4th. They kind of blew them out towards the end. Then they lost 4 straight. They lost to Jacksonville State in the conference opener by 10, 34-24. They lost to Bowling Green 23-13. They lost to James Madison, geez.
In-state
31.
non-con rivalry.
Yep.
There, too.
31-13. Took the loss against Old Dominion. That was a blowout.
Another in-state rivalry, too.
21-7. And then they won. They rattled off 3 straight. UTEP, New Mexico State, and they beat the crap out of Delaware.
Yeah.
59-30. And then, as you noted, close loss to Missouri State.
Mhm.
Now at Pickle Stadium. So it's been a weird season for this Flames team. Obviously, I think a big loss for them was Caden Salter.
Yes.
And just transfer photo goes to play for Peon at Colorado. No longer the starter there. So
Has he even played it?
he has played. He started a
He has
couple games,
played.
but he
Okay.
just hasn't been very successful over there. Now they're going with their freshman Julian Lewis,
Yeah.
who's like the #1 player out of the country. So huge day for them. They are making the shift over to the young quarterback while Salter backs him up. But yeah, I think the big name is Evan Dickens, Georgia Tech transfer.
Yeah.
Currently finds himself 3rd in the conference in rushing yards, tied with Keyshawn Owens for rushing touchdowns, and he averages a lot of yards per carry, just over 100 yards per game. So curious to see what he gets going there. There's not a lot after that, right? With this Liberty team, I mean, you look at their leading receiver, Dante Lee Jr.
Yeah.
He has 26 receptions for 493 yards and 4 touchdowns. So that's another guy I guess you could look for in this offense. And then you look at their defense, their main guy got hurt, and he's out for the season. And I'm trying to find his name, Joseph Carter. He's done for the season.
Yes, he is.
So that was a huge loss for this Flames team. Still leads the team in total tackles, which kind of shows you a little bit of their struggles on defense. Liberty also ranked as the top defense in the conference.
Yeah.
So regardless, it's been a lot of up and downs. I think the big reason why they're so high, similar to why FIU is so high in rushing offense, I mean, in total offense, is because of their rushing offense.
Yeah.
And then with Liberty, it's because of their passing defense. So just some things I'm looking for there, and it's worth noting, win number 100 could come from Willie Simmons. So
Yes.
he's currently at 99 wins in college football. Not a lot of guys. Oh, there's Sean Fred. How about that?
Kid.
A lot of guys, not a lot of coaches have reached the marker that he has.
Yes.
There's a lot of guys that have reached 100 games coached, but not a lot with his record. So shout out to Willie Simmons. Congrats to him. Hopefully he gets it done on homecoming. And as we noted, FIU hasn't won a homecoming game since 2019. Never beat the Flames. So it's going to be tough, but I think they have a good shot.
Can we verify who they beat in 2019?
Charlotte.
Charlotte. The 49ers. Speaking of Charlotte, that's where FIU men's soccer is tonight as they get ready to take on Florida Atlantic. Had to give them a shout out because as big as this game is, I mean, FIU men's soccer.
You can make the case that one's bigger.
Yeah, I mean, and as you know, if it was against any other team in the American, it'd be like, all right, just get the job done, bring it home. But it's against the Owls of them University, and how about it? That would be such a great story. If both teams were to win football, then soccer, you can throw in women's basketball. I believe is already playing as we speak. And we'll probably get you a score by the end to see if they did or did not take care of Bethune-Cookman. That would be monstrous to have both those teams win today, and obviously bring back some hardware for the men's soccer
And
team.
it punches her ticket into the NCAA
To the
tournament.
Natty.
Yeah,
That's true. That's true.
NCAA tournament on next Thursday. So
Yeah.
the selection show would be, I believe, on Monday. So
This has been a very impressive tournament run for
it's
FIU.
a big weekend at FIU. You have
Yes.
you have volleyball over at UTEP. You have women's basketball right now at the bank.
Yes.
Playing. So we'll find out the score of that in just a moment. And then obviously here we have football. So
What do they call this when all these teams are playing at the same time? It's not layover season. It's
crossover.
crossover season. There you go. We're just about done with that. Then soccer nears their draw here.
Well, hey, they could keep it going.
They could keep it going. A loss, I don't think, gets them into the Natty.
FIU is currently beating Bethune-Cookman 65-56.
nail biter there
So-
at the OBCC.
It's a close game and just over 6 minutes to play.
By the way, got one comment here. South to West, FIU alum, class of 2002. That's
Wow.
gold. That's golden Panther territory. Go Panthers! He's very locked in when it comes to my watch parties. Which I mean, we're gonna have to do one more here as for the Sam Houston game. Hopefully, that watch party will potentially determine if FIU goes bowling or not. Because you all will have to be tuned into that one, no doubt about it. The stakes are that high. So back here to the Liberty Flames again. They're led by Vasco, a transfer from Coastal Carolina. This has been a very up and down season for him. What's got me salivating a little bit, 6 interceptions thrown by this man so far. And from what we saw last week in games against a lot of the top passers we've played, such as Veldkamp, Florida Atlantic, and Western Kentucky too. This is a secondary that can make a quarterback that's known to throw some picks look really bad at times. That's good. That's one exciting thing about this game.
Yeah, exactly. He's had an up and down season. You kind of noted it in the press conference. Jordan really kind of agree. He did agree with you. He's a dual threat guy, not the best dual threat guy that you've seen this season.
Yeah.
But he's someone who will run the ball if needed. And him and Dickens have really done a good job of running the ball, getting the run game going for that Liberty team. So he's going to be a guy to keep an eye out for. My understanding is that their backup quarterback is actually going to be out, and their third stringer, who was actually an IMG Academy product,
Is that right?
will be the new backup. So we'll see if that is the case once the injury report drops. That should be dropping at 4. No longer would be live at that point, but obviously follow us on Twitter, and we'll have all the information needed there. But, yeah, something definitely to keep an eye out for there in case Vasco does go down. You wouldn't be seeing as much of a dual threat presence as the signal caller for Liberty. I'm sorry. So, yeah, I'm curious to see what happens. Liberty's never been a pass-heavy team regardless, so I'm not too surprised that they went with Bosco. This guy from Coastal. Jimmy Chadwell didn't recruit him, but he obviously should know who he is pretty well. And it's a very similar offense, I guess. He won the starting quarterback job out the offseason, so yeah, he's a solid player, and he's going to be an interesting guy to watch.
It's a little frustrating to talk about what Liberty's thinking as they go into this game when you see the media presser for Chadwell barely said anything about FIU.
They did say they were preparing for 2 quarterbacks. So.
There you go. So that's just about as much as you're going to get as how Liberty themselves are getting ready for this matchup. It feels very even, all things good. You look at the matchup predictor on ESPN, it's like near 50-50. Both teams, similar strengths, similar weaknesses. What would you say is the biggest concern as you look up the predictor? I'm kind of curious to see this too, how much it's changed.
It's
almost 51 to 40, basically 49.
FIU home dog.
FIU is a home dog.
Not good, but not bad either. I'll take that.
Were they a home dog against Florida Atlantic?
No, we've not. We haven't been a home dog at all this year.
Until
We've
now.
been road favorites.
Hate to say we're probably going to be one next week too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, maybe Jack State,
We'll be road favorites though against St.
maybe they can poop the bed this week, and then you bring up a really interesting matchup next week.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
On Senior Day too. It's nice that we get homecoming and Senior Day back to back.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Pretty rare.
And I
would think.
do like the later homecoming, and that was
Yeah.
something I know that FIU was really trying to work on. Get this little later. It's a 5 p.m. kick, little earlier than the usual 6.
Sun will still be out.
Barely.
Barely.
I mean, at that point with the light daylight savings, that's a little different. So
Hey, these teams from the Northeast don't like playing in the hot sun. We
Yeah.
found that out when a certain AFC East team from Buffalo came down here and got absolutely smoked by another AFC
can't be talking about
East team, Hard Rock Stadium. So What do you think overall is the biggest threat that Liberty brings to FIU in this game?
Yeah, I think it's their passing defense. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They are number 2 in the conference. That's something to keep an eye out on. And FIU, who's had a lot of up and downs this season regarding their passing game overall. I'll be interested to see how Joe Pisanski really matches up against them. And then obviously the running back, Dickens, he's really good. I mean, he's one of the 3 best running backs in the conference.
Yeah.
It's Cook, KJ Owens, Dickens. So FIU has to see 2 of those guys real soon.
Dickens is probably one of the most untalked about, underrated players in all of Conference USA because most of the spotlight has been on Cam Cook and Keyshawn Owens. That you kind of forget that, oh, yeah, Dickens is right there too. He's being one of the top running backs, not just in Group of 5, but even FBS football right now.
How many viewers are we up to? Almost 100?
We're getting there. That doesn't even account for the people watching on Instagram. I thank you all so much, regardless of where you are watching. Who else do I got to thank right now? Maybe Danny Moss for hooking me up with this helmet. It finally gets to show up in a video. How about that as we get going here? By the way, check out that straw hat right there over there. Also a giveaway for people today at the Royals. Why don't you try putting it on, seeing what looks like modeling for alumni, basically. Look at the design on that thing. How about it, Kevin? How about that? Look at that.
Also,
Definitely need one of those. It's like the Don Strock era when it comes to merch for FIU. So, all right, what are your final thoughts on Liberty before we get into our guest here? Talk a bit about the Flames.
yeah, no, it's going to be a tough one, regardless of however you outline it, it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what happens, but overall, I think FIU's going to have a really good shot at taking them down. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. It's going to be a hot game. It's already pretty hot outside.
It is.
It was chilly South Florida for a couple days, but unfortunately, that's not the case anymore.
No, definitely. It was nice while it lasted. You know, it makes living in South Florida worth it when you get those few days a year where the weather could not be more beautiful. But you know what? As FIU media coverers, if you will, all we can ask for is no more lightning delays. And it looks like that's for sure not happening today. So thank goodness. Knock on wood. I don't know if this table's wood or not. Just,
No, whatever it is.
Yeah.
We'll knock
So, Marty, I think it's time to get into our guest today. Is none other than Jeremiah, the Fan the Flames football podcast. I know Fan the Flames themselves going through some leadership changes, if you will, but they are a proud member of both the CUSA Podcast Roundtable and the College Huddle, providing coverage of Liberty Flames football. So without further ado, let's say hey to Jeremiah of the Fan the Flames podcast and see what they have to say about this game for them right about here. Kevin, I need you to do the clap here. Right about now.
Defeated regular season, went to the conference championship and won
Yeah.
won that against New Mexico State here at home at Williams Stadium. Going from there, obviously, I try to be hopelessly optimistic with some realistic expectations. So going into the next season, my expectations aren't going to be, oh, we should be undefeated again and go to the conference championship and win it again. It's not my total expectations. So we had a little bit of a down year, quote unquote. Won 8 games last year. Didn't get to go to the conference championship, but we got to a bowl game, so that was good. A lot of people on social media and our fan base are gonna, freak out about that. Like, oh, we won the games. We should be, competing for conference championship every year, blah, blah, blah,
Mhm.
all this. And so I'm sitting there like, okay, if a down year is 8 wins, sign me up for that. 100% sign me up for that. But, coming into this season, I'm kind of expecting a little bit better. We had rumors of, someone in particular. You can maybe take a guess at who it is. May have been
Mm.
a locker room killer, may have been some issues.
Yeah.
But obviously coming into this season, struggled a little bit starting off the season against FCS Maine, which
Yeah.
personally at first I chalked it up to we're not going to be calling all of our plays. We got a big game against JMU. We got a big game against Jack State before that. We don't want to show our hand. So I kind of just chalked it up as let's just win this game, move on to the tougher opponents. Well, Jack State comes around, we drop that one, drop a few straight. And then we're here sitting at 4-5 right now, and kind of scratching our heads as a fan base, to be honest. So
Yeah.
I'll get a little bit more in detail as we go along, but yeah, it's kind of just a quick synopsis of the season.
Yeah, and Chadwell, he knows success here at the FBS level. So, talk a bit about how he was able to turn that around. It'd be one thing to just give up on the season down 1-4 to begin, but then you rattle off a couple of, I'd say, pretty solid wins against UTEP and Delaware. New Mexico State came down to the wire, but the Flames pull it off. So, talk a bit about what was the message from Chadwell to get the troops back rolling, and and then we have to transition to the most recent game being the loss to Missouri State. What exactly went wrong there?
Sure. I mean, as far as the message goes, I mean, I'm not personally too ingrained into that. That's probably more of I think for a Sea of Red, you've probably seen a Sea of Red at one of our big fan media sites. Shout out
Yeah.
to those guys, good friends. Those guys would be probably better to kind of get the insight on that. But yeah, it was just kind of strange to see, what seemed to be a turnaround in the team winning a few straight. Albeit, one's at UTEP's kind of up and down, but you win that game, you play. I mean, New Mexico State's pretty solid. I mean, I'm not gonna, say they're a bad team. They got a really good quarterback in Fife. If I'm not mistaken, he won a national championship at the FCS level. So, pretty solid team there. Pretty good win. I was happy with that. And then we have homecoming against Delaware. And, Delaware's been a solid squad. They beat UConn. They've had a pretty good season so far. So I wasn't expecting a solid win that we saw on homecoming, winning 59-30. It was kind of an anomaly, it seems, from our offense, scoring almost 60 points in a game. And then this next game, we go from starting off really hot in the very first drive, thinking, okay, we're going to have same thing, the same result as we did last game. And then from there, we went from really hot to really cold. So,
Yeah, that's essentially the case there. Well, Liberty of one thing does have some big time playmakers on both sides of the ball, really. But I wanted to talk to you a bit about your quarterback Vasco. You bring him in from Coastal Carolina, and so far, I feel like the stats don't really paint a massive picture on what he's able to do when he leads the offense. But take us through your thoughts on him, his season thus far, what he could still improve on with a few games to go, and where he stands as far as QBs go at Liberty.
yeah, so Ethan Vasco comes in from a pretty solid at times Coastal Carolina team. I actually personally watched him at Coastal numerous games, and then obviously when we announced that we were picking him up in the portal, I went back and watched a lot of his film with Ben. Actually, Ben watched his film, I should say,
Right.
and they got trickled down to me really. So shout out to Ben on that one. But I personally thought he was going to be a really good fit in our scheme, especially coming from a team that Chadwell had coached previously. So I was pretty high on getting Vasco, but so far this season, and I guess some of the Coastal fans were right. Unfortunately, he's just been super inconsistent. He'll have a game where he has some extremely good plays, and might have an interception here, might fumble there, but for the most part, have a really solid game. But then he'll turn around and he'll have pretty rough game, like against because in his last game, for instance, there were several throws. He probably could have had more interceptions in this past game than he did because he threw at least three or four balls right into a Mo State defender's chest. So it's one of the most confusing players. He's one of the most confusing players in order to get a good read on because he's just been so inconsistent. So I can't really tell you a whole lot about that. He's just got to be consistent. Like he's got to actually throw the ball where it needs to be. He needs to throw to the right jersey. Yeah, but at the same time, he's got to have time as well. So that's been kind of a inconsistent part of the team as well. But we'll kind of get into that too.
Well, one part of the team that I'd like to say is pretty consistent is Liberty's running game. Third most rushing yards per game in Conference USA, just behind both FIU and Jack State. And would you say Evan Dickens is probably the most talented playmaker on offense? And as far as their rushing attack goes, how much do you contribute that to what Dickens has been able to do, how the offensive line has looked in tandem with him and some of the other backs, and what FIU should be looking for on defense against them?
Yeah, so you mentioned the offensive line, which is kind of strange in my mind because the first half of the season, I would say the offensive line was probably the biggest contributor to our woes because they were not playing as a unit. Vasco was getting rushed. Holes that were getting made, but they're still kind of inconsistent. But yeah, no, shout out to Evan Dickens, Vaughn Blue, Caden Williams. We've got a whole stable of running backs. Newland Isaac, our running backs coach, has done a fantastic job getting these guys in. Excuse me. But yeah, just kind of getting drowned out by the rest of the woes of the team, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I mean, these running backs can make huge plays. I mean, they've been flying all over the field all season, but I mean, they can only do so much.
That's a good point. Now, looking on the other side of the ball, I mean, Liberty's defense, I would say, at times this season has sort of had to carry the team as far as what they've been able to do. I mean, allowing the least amount of yards per game in all of CUSA. I mean, they've been an exceptional unit at times, especially when stopping the passing game. Talk a bit about what makes that group specifically of Liberty's defense so successful so far this season.
Yeah, first guy that comes to mind, we have a guy who's a returner his name is Mo Williams. He's been a solid guy in the backfield in order to be able to disrupt plays, be able to get a hand in there to get a PBU. We also brought in a really good player in Damon Harmon. He played at Oklahoma prior to coming to us. He bounced around somewhere else. I always forget what the other school was, but he's bounced around a little bit. Has some Power 5 experience. Damon's done a fantastic job, really. Of being able to defend the pass. So shout out to those guys. We've had guys. We have returner in Brylan Green. I believe it's his last season with us. He's been a stud for us ever since he's walked on the field at Williams Stadium. He's just been an absolute stud. He got injured, unfortunately, at ODU. I believe it was at ODU. Yeah, it was at ODU. Came back with a cast on his hand or a club, basically. And he was still able to make plays with the club, which was crazy. But obviously, a little bit stunted there, if you will. So yeah, the safeties and the corners have done really well throughout the season. But unfortunately, they've done pretty solid as a whole unit on the defense, as you said, carrying the team. It was just kind of unfortunate that the last drive of the game against Mo State wasn't one of their best.
Right. Yeah. No. That's a good point there. What would you say is one of the biggest weaknesses that this Liberty team suffers week in and week out, even when they are winning games? A part of their identity that some teams, for example, Missouri State, you can even throw in, JMU, Bowling Green, they were able to capitalize on that you think the Panthers might have a shot to do?
That's a fantastic question, and I've been trying to ask myself that every single week of this season, and every time I think I pinpoint one, something else comes up. Like I said before, the first half of the season, it seemed like the glaring issue was the offensive line. Yeah. We have a really great center, Aaron Fenimore, but outside of him, it just seemed like the unit wasn't playing as a unit. Fenimore was getting double teamed, and obviously the numbers are eventually going to get to you. And we had some injuries on the line as well, so that kind of contributed to that. But then, like I said, the last couple games, like Delaware, for instance, they played fantastic. There's a lights out by that unit. So we come back to this game, and it's just like,
yeah,
the offensive line didn't really play bad, I don't believe, this past game. We just couldn't finish his drive. I don't know what that was. A lot of it, actually, I was thinking about it. A lot of it was we had a lot of drop passes in this past game, unfortunately, which is also odd because the rest of the season the receivers have been pretty good. So again, it's just kind of one of those things where it's like you think you pinpoint one, and then that gets better, but then another one pops up. So I can't really give you a glaring weakness because it's just been changing.
Right. No, that's a good point.
You just got to go in and figure out what it's going to be on Saturday. This Saturday.
This season has been a massive stretch of downs and then, well, some ups for the Flames. So if I'm not mistaken, Liberty is a slight favorite in this game. But like I said at the top, this is so even. It's hard to pick one team directly to win this. So I'll just ask you this. If Liberty were to come into Pitbull Stadium and take down the Panthers, what do they need to hone in on more than anything else in this game to get the job done?
Getting to the end zone. Simple as that. I know it's a very John Madden-esque answer, but get in the end zone. Finish a drive, please.
Not too many field goals for a change.
Shoot, I can handle a few field goals. I think our kickers this year especially have significantly improved from the last year or two. Kickers haven't been a huge issue, but it's just getting in field goal range for them to get a good kick to get us a 3-point drive here and there, and then just get in the end zone, please. I need Dickens to run the ball, get a huge run to the end zone, something just score.
I got you. So, do you ultimately see? I don't even really need to ask if you think Liberty's going. I'm just going to hope you're going to go with your red, white, and blue heart and say the Flames. But I think a better question to ask is, do you realistically see Liberty getting to 6 wins, making it to a bowl after the Panthers? You have Louisiana Tech, which obviously has a tough defense, and then you have Kennesaw State, who at that point you could probably be playing spoiler for them in their CUSA title hopes. So do you see the Flames getting into a bowl game here?
Again, it's just there's been so many inconsistencies, and it's just been such a pain to get a read on this team to be able to give you a straightforward answer. It just depends on which team shows up. I have been a Liberty fan since 2012 when I started my undergrad, and I have yet to see a losing season. I know when I started undergrad, we were in the FCS.
Right.
I saw a few 6-6 seasons. That's fine. But I have not seen anything worse than 6. So I'm hoping and praying that we get there.
Yeah.
I think we can win this game on Saturday. I'm not going to put anybody out of it, especially with you guys seemingly being on the uptrend with your new coach, Coach Simmons, right? So, and I'm a big fan of his as well. But yeah, so with you guys on the uptrend and being at home and it being homecoming, I'm not counting you guys out at all, but I think we can go in there and play one of our better games like we played against Delaware, for instance, and come out of Pitbull Stadium with a win this weekend.
All righty, Jeremiah. Thank you so much, my friend. If you'd like to let the FIU faithful know where they can follow you, as well as the fan the Flames account, check out episodes and see how the Liberty faithful are getting ready for this game.
Yeah, so my @ is the other Jerry LU. If you want to follow me, follow along with me. I always mess up the handle of the podcast. Forgive me. It's at FTF Football Pod, I believe. I don't run the account, so forgive me on that. Ben runs that account. But yeah, if you want to follow along with us as well, and then obviously you guys have the roundtable that you're a part of, which I absolutely love that content. By the way, please keep doing that. Please, it is incredible content. Go follow all those podcasts as well. Great guys.
No, without a doubt, it's a great collection we have here in CUSA. Even if it can get a little feisty here every now and then, that's just the makings of a good conference.
You have to, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Alrighty then. Thank you so much again, Jeremiah. let's get back into the remainder of our Paws Up preview as Kevin and I at the Roar Lounge get to go over what happened last week in Conference USA, make some picks for this week, and decide who's going to win between the Sun Blazers and the Flames here at Homecoming.
And that was Jeremiah of the Fan the Flames Football Podcast. Be sure to give them some love. Check out how they're going to get ready for this game between FIU and Liberty. Kevin, we're not slick. While we were, while that video was going, yeah, we chowed down a little bit, had some food. What did you have? You were all in on the sushi.
Right behind me. Sushi
There you
taco
go.
here. Awesome food. Really good. Owners from FIU grads, so really cool
That's
there.
awesome.
And Section 112 is actually here today too. I saw.
Yeah,
So it's a lot of people.
All
a lot
the
of people.
fellas.
Yeah, a lot of people
Yeah.
out here. So good vibes. They should come out. And I told this to a couple people right as we were, during this break. By far the best tailgate scene of the season.
Bar none. I don't even think the tailgates at certain Hard Rock Stadium for a certain college team can match up to this, honestly, with how fun it's been. And with all these FIU students coming back. It's been a great week just leading up to this. I know you had the uncaging event. I want to say a couple days ago, Willie Simmons was there. And just to get students gassed up for this game. So, do we have a score update, by the way, for women's basketball? How are they doing?
They are about to defeat the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats 81-64.
81 1 minute to go.
Good for them.
Congratulations to FIU women's basketball. Winning your home opener, always fun to do, regardless of the sport. So, nice to see them doing that. I mean, they played USF pretty tough in Tampa, and USF is a damn good coach. You know, their head coach just went to Dallas. So, my gosh. Let's get back into the swing of things here. I had the Chick-fil-A, by the way. I had a few things. That was the first time I ever had Chick-fil-A mac and cheese.
I like it.
It slapped. It was really, really good. So,
I'll probably have some right before.
honestly, right before we head out to Pitbull Stadium. So let's get into some. Let's first take a look around Conference USA, checking in on our friends and foes. You know, it's crazy. I have to change that graphic next year. I have to remove UTEP and Louisiana Tech. So just goes to show you how crazy the conference. Before we get into that, I got to give a quick shout out, by the way, to our cameraman for today's show, Sebastian Clavejo at Sports with Seb. While that Fan the Flames interview was going, he swapped out the battery. It was like an F1 pit stop. How efficient he was to get that battery in and out of the camera that he brought to make this stream look as good as possible. So shout out to Sports with Seb and for the work he did to get us going today. Now let's go ahead and take a look at what happened last week at Conference USA. And heads flew, Kevin, with some of the things that happened there. It was absolutely insane what went on. As I go ahead and try to
There we
get this
are.
going. Yeah, okay, good enough. Missouri State, as like we said, defeats Liberty, and it was a devastating loss for the Flames. They were on that winning streak, and Missouri State came in and took them down.
Yeah, as you noted, Missouri State's been playing some fun football. They want to go bowling. I think they should go bowling. As much as it hurts for me to say that, just solely because of them beating FIU,
Yeah,
they do deserve to go bowling. Get Missouri State bowling.
they do. And you know, if not enough normal FBS teams could get that 6-win mark, they might. You know, they might. Same with Delaware. We've seen it before. I think Jacksonville State. They didn't have enough FBS teams to go bowling, so they brought them in.
JMU too.
And they won. I think they won that game too.
Yeah, Jacksonville State won in the New Orleans Bowl. Yeah.
Yes. So Delaware beats Louisiana Tech, and I felt good about Delaware because after they got humbled by Liberty the week before, they wanted revenge. That was not up to their standard.
Now let's not forget how this ended. Perfect onside kick
I can't
recovered
believe it.
by Delaware,
Yes.
and they knocked in the 51-yarder.
I can't think of a more heartbreaking way for Louisiana Tech to lose that.
And now they're still a win away from bowl eligibility. So
They are. So FIU destroys Middle Tennessee, by the way. Jack State, that was the best performance of the season by UTEP, and they still lost. They couldn't get the job done against Camp Cook U.
Scotty Walden, man,
Oh,
come on.
come on, Scotty. They were so close, too. It would have been so great to see, but oh well. And then Kennesaw State, 24-21 winners over New Mexico State. Kennesaw State was ahead big. New Mexico State came back and almost won against the Owls late in that game, but the Owls held on there.
Yeah, the fighting David Yost, just not enough.
Not enough, but that was as good a performance as you'll see from them against the top dog in Conference USA. And then Sam Houston goes to Corvallis, knocks off Oregon State. Yeah, round of applause for that.
Good for them, man.
You know, no college football team should go winless in a season. I think except Kent State. I think UMass still has not, or have they? No, I don't think they've won a game yet.
No, they haven't.
They haven't. So,
And they're getting blown out left and right.
so no one in football deserves to go winless this season, man. So hoping they can get it done. So shout out Sam Houston. It makes me feel so much better. Now we don't have to play a winless team to close out the season.
Exactly.
That's going to make me feel a lot better about last week or about that final week of the season. So let's get back into it here. So how do we do standings-wise? Prediction-wise, how did we do, Kevin? Well, to say it was iffy is kind of an understatement here. I went 4-2. Kevin, you split down the middle 3-3.
I'll take it.
You take it. We both took Liberty over Missouri State. We both took Oregon State over Sam Houston, and you took La Tech over Delaware.
I mean,
In a game you should have won. Let's just to be real here, a game you should have absolutely won. So total records-wise, I'm at 56-20. Kevin, you're at 51-25. So I think it's a 5-game difference. You're running out of games to catch up on. So we'll see what happens here as we take a look at this week's schedule. In CUSA week number 12, all 12 teams are in. You have a couple of non-conference matchups here and there. One fortunate one very unfortunate one as we get into it. But the first game of the day is actually going to be UTEP taking on Missouri State.
That one's going on right now.
Yeah, it's actually we're 30
it's
minutes,
about to,
30
yeah.
minutes away. But so definitely, if you're tailgating, maybe put on the game there. It should be pretty fun to watch. And seeing what UTEP almost do last week, does that give you confidence when they take out Missouri State? Will also beat Liberty.
I think it'll be a lot closer of a game than maybe people think. UTEP just feels like they're one big play away or one big moment away from really breaking out and getting something going there. I'm going to go with Missouri State, though. I'm going to go with the favorites for this one, and they're going to get their 7th win of the season.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm going to go with Missouri State too, just because of the fact they did it last week. If they lost to Liberty, even in a close one, I'd be like, you know what? Maybe this is upset time for UTEP. But no, Missouri State has proven they can beat the best of the best, including us, obviously. So I'm going to go with the Bears here too. But I'd like to see that become an interesting game. Next up, it's 100 miles of hate between Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky. And if you were to ask Jake Bolden, I feel like, by the way, that's at 3:30. That's all that Middle Tennessee has left. But they're not going to even have Vadiato.
Sam Houston, though.
I know, but they could at least salvage this season.
We know who's going to win.
Yes, it's Western Kentucky.
No, I'm joking again. Western
Okay.
Kentucky.
Even if they have Vadiato, I'd still feel like Western Kentucky. They're at home. They'll have the advantage here, unfortunately. Moving on now. New Mexico State is in good old Rocky Top, taking on the Tennessee Volunteers. I don't think they're in
David Yost upset territory?
Is Tennessee a CFP team? I don't think they
No,
are.
they're not.
I think they're on the outskirts. Granted, I think the SEC is going to get a lot of teams in the college football playoff. Ole Miss, Alabama, Texas, you name it. It's Rocky Top, man. Come on, give me the. Tell you what, if New Mexico State still had Pavia, Tennessee would have better watched their ass out.
That's true.
No, they don't, so that's why I'm taking Tennessee comfortably.
Yeah, no, me too. Unless, David Yost decides to cook something up, but that's highly unlikely.
Yeah. FIU plays Liberty at 5 o'clock. And then after this game, maybe you have an extra TV, you can go ahead and watch Delaware take on San Houston State at 7 o'clock. And do you even give the Bearcats a prayer? Granted, they have momentum. How about that? They got momentum. But, damn, Delaware's Delaware.
Delaware. Give me Delaware.
Give me the hands. Unfortunately, no one's going to be there to watch it because they're at the MLS stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. And then tonight, probably the greatest game all season involving two Conference USA teams. This could be a CUSA title game preview between the Kennesaw State Owls and the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. That is at 8 o'clock. I don't think they have a name for this rivalry. I think
Well, there's not even a rivalry.
it is. It was a rivalry in FCS, and then they now it's a rivalry here again. With how important it is, I mean, I told Kai this. Obviously Kennesaw State is Coca-Cola stool. Maybe Jack State's Pepsi. It's the battle of the two soft drinks. That's your name for the rivalry. And now it comes down to
This can make or break the predictions right here too.
the momentum of this season is going to boil down to this game. I'm going to give the slight edge to Jacksonville State here because they are at home. They have Cam Cook, who I don't think has really had a horrific game yet this season, and I think it's going to be a close game. This could be one of those overtime thrillers that we always kind of look for in a game. This could be that, but I am going to go with Jacksonville State here.
Give me the Cox.
Fortunately. Now, would I be surprised at all if Kennesaw State wins? Absolutely not. But
No, it'll be a high scoring, pretty good game.
say that I'll say this: it's so close. If this game was in Kennesaw, I'd probably go with the Owls.
That's fair.
But it's in Jacksonville, so I'm gonna
Kennesaw
go
though, the last time they were at Jack State, the Kennesaw fans
Yeah.
traveled so well that apparently they had like some offside penalties, like Jackson.
Yes,
State did.
I
Yeah.
saw that. By the way, a lot of great FIU, a pretty good FIU crowd in Middle Tennessee. By the way, I want to point that out.
I was there. Yeah,
They traveled
yeah.
well. Oh, you were there. No, but they traveled well there, no doubt about it. And then the final game is Louisiana Tech taking on Washington State. Now, to provide a bit of context on the Cougars, I believe they played Virginia, really tough. It was a loss. They only lost by 3 to Ole Miss. This is a not terrible Washington State team in the Pac-12, though they did lose to Oregon State. But it's one of those instances where they're going to play Oregon State again. They're going to meet up twice in the same season. That is so weird in college football.
Are they really?
Yes, it's like a home and home in one season because of scheduling, whatever you want to call it.
I didn't know that.
Louisiana Tech.
Oh, Washington State. Yeah.
Yeah, and Oregon State. They're
I
like,
don't know why I thought you said non-tech. I was like, what?
no. Oregon State.
Well, still,
Washington
regardless,
State.
super weird.
It's very weird. I'm gonna go with again Washington State. They're not a bad Pac-12 team. They're not a bad West Coast team, even if that loss to Oregon State last week or a couple weeks ago really looks bad now, considering Sam Houston State also beat Oregon State. I'm gonna go with what is it? Wazoo. I'm gonna go with Wazoo here.
Me too.
Yeah, that's a 10 o'clock kick, by the way. I don't know if I'll be tuned into that one, Chief, but you know what? Depends on how we're feeling, I guess. So it depends on what we're going to say right now. It's time to ask a very important question on the show on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Who will win? The most important question asked here on the show between FIU and Liberty. Now, before we give our answer, let's see what EA thinks. And I got to say, EA has a knack for cooking up the craziest games you will ever see. Check this out.
It came down to the final quarter, clutch plays, guys delivered, and they get the close win.
Damn, what a game they cooked up there. I don't want this game to be as stressful as that, but I think it's time to ask a pretty big question here. Kevin, I'll let you have the honors. No pressure, because as you can see, this place is starting to get filled up with the FIU faithful. But who's going to win this game between the Panthers and the Flames? Give us your X factor for FIU on either offense or defense and your score.
I mean, it's only right? We're here at the Roar Lounge. Shout out to the Alumni Association for setting this up.
Yes.
Give me the Panthers, baby. Paws up. We're getting the win. It'll be a 31-24 victory for FIU. Very, very close game. X factor, give me Anthony Carey. He has a really underrated season so far. I think he'll keep going tonight. 2 tutties. FIU gets the dub because we're at the Roar Lounge, and because this is a must-win game.
Right there. I love that final score, Kevin. 31-24. I quite literally need to check my positive preview. That might have been the exact same. I'm not going to say it, but okay. So here's the thing. We hate Liberty, right? We cannot stand this school.
I think Conference USA fans hate Liberty.
They make it very easy to hate on. You know, They're like, I can't believe I'm saying this. They're like the Florida Panthers of Conference USA. If you root for them, they're amazing. But if you're a fan of another team, oh my God, make you want to peel your eyes out.
They're like the Yankees.
You know, what's this season going to be remembered more than anything else, Kevin? It's going to be remembered for FIU's ability to destroy long-standing losing streaks. They destroyed a massive losing streak to FA. Who? They destroyed a massive losing streak against Western Kentucky in bowling. Where? And they defeated a long-standing losing streak to Middle Tennessee. I should say Mid-Old Tennessee at Floyd Stadium. And you know what? FIU lost to Liberty in 2020. They lost to Liberty again a couple of years ago. When? During homecoming. And they lost, and it was an overtime thriller last year. They lost to them still. This is going to be the game which FIU smashes another record at Pitt Bowl Stadium. Another streak is smashed today. Give me the FIU Panthers, and I can't believe I'm saying this, by a score, and this is what I wrote down, 30-24. Yours is 31-24. I have 30-24. That score is so good. And you know what's interesting too? Every game, thank you, Kevin. Every game that FIU has won, they've blown out the opposing team, like multi-touchdown wins. This would be the first win in which they actually play a close game against a team. But damn it, I think they're going to get this done today at Pitt Bowl Stadium. The fans here deserve to see a statement win from FIU, and this is going to be the team to do it against. Absolutely, mark my words, it's going to happen.
What a speech!
What a speech! I had to throw some Florida Atlantic shades somewhere in there, you know. So that's pretty much it from us, gentlemen. So I think it's time to give some thank yous once again.
FIU men's soccer just beating the Owls 2-0.
Oh, you're saying 2-0. I'm going to go 3-1. I say it'll be tied. Then FIU gets the lead, doubles it up, gives it to the next person, and they're going to take down the Owls to bring home some new hardware. I know at halftime, I think we're honoring the tennis team. During halftime, the CUSA title. I think so. That's why it's on the schedule. Next week, you can honor the men's soccer team.
I like that.
Would this be the greatest day in FIU athletics history?
They could go 4-0. FIU athletics. Volleyball?
That's right, volleyball.
Well, we already 1-0. Women's basketball.
Yes.
So that's the first one. Let's go 4-0.
So I think some thank yous are in order here as we start to close up shop. Thank you, of course, to FIU alumni. And I'd be remiss not to bring back up the event that they asked us to talk over, being the Panther Alumni Week. It's for alumni to come in, give some answers to some of the younger students here, figure out what they want to do. And maybe I'll come back, give them some broadcasting tips, how to not get too frustrated when your team loses in a game. Just watch my watch parties. You'll see what I'm saying. That's going to be February 2nd to the 6th. Is that a Paws Up podcast legend over here, Kishon Fred?
Yeah.
That's cool. Anyway, February 6th to 2nd next year. Sign up for it. Should be very fun. Another amazing event that FIU alumni is hosting. So, who else do I need to thank you? Obviously, our photographer, Sports with Seth, got us all hooked up here. And I guess Danny Moss for the helmet. How does that not?
He's right out there.
Yeah, he's right out here. So, thank you all so much to everybody for making this possible. We'll be back talking for the halftime report and the post-game show.
Not from here.
Yeah, not here. Over at Pitt Bowl Stadium. And hopefully this will set up a very interesting week next week. We're at Senior Day, as the obviously more positive preview. We'll get the 700 Pellet Road Boys on the show to discuss Cam Cook University. We got to get another Paws Up podcast episode rolling here eventually. And I know we have some good guests. Yeah, we've definitely been cooking. And then the Sam Houston Week watch party, definitely tune in, especially if they have a lot to play for, which they probably will. So
just over the hour, not bad.
Yeah. 2:39, final time. Thank you all so much for watching. Well, first of all, pack the cage if you're here. Don't leave.
The cage, the pit, whatever you want to call it.
Listen, we made fun of
Pack it.
We made fun of FAU for not getting their students in after the tailgate. So let's show them what it's actually like to fill the stadium after a tailgate. Who's on the radio call today?
Zach Letson and shout out to the game notes. Shout out to the game notes.
Yes.
And Eric Dobransky on the radio. And on TV, we've got Corey Brooks and Alejandro Solano.
Corey Brooks and Solano. That's a star-studded show full of Paws Up podcast legends. Is there a giveaway today?
No giveaway.
No giveaway.
I mean, the gift is right in
Listen,
there. It's a win.
Walk anywhere here, you'll probably get something for free. That's all I'm saying. So, all right, then. Beautiful weather, 5 o'clock. ESPN Plus, if you can't make it, tune in, pack the cage. Let's watch a damn good victory. And until next time, Paws Up!